South Dakota State shook off a starter going down for the year with injury to roll to a 26-point win at Oral Roberts and remain unbeaten. North Dakota's special run comes to a brutal end at the hands of Kansas City. And the heart of the men's standings continue to shuffle while the top two remain the same. Who will separate themselves as we get down the stretch and closer to Sioux Falls?
Contact though, and another turnover. Kaba rises up in a thunderous dunk.
Happy Summit League Spotlight Day. He's Darren Wallace. I'm Kienan Dixon. Something is in the water in Brookings. Both of South Dakota State's men's and women's teams are sitting in first place. The women continue to dominate despite losing Madison Vlaston for the season. The Jacks are on a 12-game winning streak and remain unbeaten in league play. This team is dominant.
They don't blink. Aaron Johnson always has his team ready to go, always has them ready to play. No excuses. They just show up, they lace them up, and they get down to business. A lot of players stepping up for them, specifically Mesa Byam and Ellie Colbeck. We'll talk about what they're doing a little bit later.
We will. North Dakota's run on the men's side to first place came to a screeching halt when Kansas City went to Grand Forks and held the Fighting Hawks to just 47 points.
Yeah, I mean, Trace and Eaglestaff had 0. I don't expect that to be a consistent trend for them. That three-headed attack they have offensively is really tough to stop on an nightly basis. Ironic, though, that their winning streak, I believe, started against Kansas City, and now it ends to Kansas City. So kind of the full circle.
Anarchy?
In the Summer League. No, just college basketball.
All right, there it is. The men's standings are completely different than a week ago. The biggest movers of the past week are Omaha and North Dakota State, going in opposite directions. Darren, we sat here last week and we said these standings could look completely different, and they do.
Yep, lo and behold, here we are. One good week can boost you up the standings. One bad week can send you from second or third all the way down to the bottom. And you look at Omaha, they've kind of done just that. They were sitting pretty at the top not too long ago, and now they find themselves closer to the bottom half. North Dakota State, though, I mean, just a couple episodes ago, they were literally at the bottom. You know, South Dakota and them were kind of just jockeying for that ninth place spot. Lo and behold, again, a couple of good weeks for North Dakota State, a couple of big wins, and now they find themselves sitting in fourth. This has been a brutal season to watch if you're a coach and a player, because you're so on edge with every result meaning something so much to your where you're standing at. But then if you're a fan, I mean, how can you not love what the men's side of the Summit League has been looking like? So much parity, so much fun. Every game means something. It's been great.
It's one of the most competitive leagues that you'll see in the country right now, based on how much it fluctuates week after week. It's a ton of fun. Don't get us wrong, but it is definitely stressful for those teams that are in the mix. Let's take a look at those current standings on the men's side, and what a swing it is. South Dakota State is half a game in first place. North Dakota is still in the mix and in second. St. Thomas is a game and a half out of first, while the Bison move to 500 and find themselves in fourth. We talked about it. I mean, Omaha, Denver, Kansas City, and Oral Roberts are all tied at 5 and 6, all within striking distance. Just 2.5 games separate first place to 8th place.
Yeah, just a couple of big results can really swing everything and really create some separation. South Dakota State will have some tests. They'll be going on the road after they got to play at home for a couple of weeks. Omaha, as much as you can say, oh, you can be dissuaded by how much they've fallen, they still have a really good team. As long as you got Frankie Fiddler, I feel like you have a chance. And the way that this Omaha team has galvanized themselves, the way they believe in themselves, they certainly don't think they're out of it. So I would expect no quit in that team. Don't be surprised if the way that the current standings are, it looks nothing like that when we're sitting in here before we head to Sioux Falls for the tournament.
And the overarching theme this season for the men's side is one good week can change your season, one bad week can change your season. So it's been pretty much like that the entire season. On the women's side, it's all South Dakota State. 10-0, they've won 41 straight regular season league games. North Dakota State is still 2 games back. Oral Roberts dropped a game in their loss to the Jackrabbits and are half a game up on South Dakota in third place. Still some in flux there to decide in terms of seedings, but it looks like South Dakota State is going to run away with this.
Yeah, South Dakota State, I mean, you just look at what they've done to do it with the injuries. I mean, They may be getting some resources back. I believe Coach Aaron Johnson said that they might get the services of Natalie Nielsen back. Not sure how much they'll be able to use her. But, I mean, this is a team that's literally playing a walk-on, Tori Tollison, in meaningful minutes. I mean, she was added onto the team midway through the season as just kind of a body so they could practice, so they could do things every day. But now she's actually getting meaningful minutes in meaningful games. That says a lot. It doesn't just say stuff about Tori Tollison, but also says a lot about the SDSU coaching staff, that they have the confidence to be able to bring her in basically from another team. She's a softball player, and contribute to the team the way that she has. The others have been stepping up. Mesa Byam been inserted into the starting lineup. They're kind of running the Twin Towers with her and Bulkenmeyer. They've been giving teams fits. And Ellie Kolbeck, I mean, I think she's knocked down 4 threes in each of the 3 games since Madison Velostin has gone down. So you talk about losing your best shooter in Velostin, and then it just brings out the best in Ellie Kolbeck, who's been their best shooter in this 3-game stretch.
It's never a rebuild with Aaron Johnson. It's just a reload.
Right.
They
Right.
plug and play. We'll find somebody else to fill that spot. Let's do some stock talk. We did it last week. Let's do it again. Storyline stocks. Which ones will Darren buy and which will he sell? Let's start in Brookings on the men's side. Zeke Mayo. Is he legit player of the year?
I mean, you have to look at it and say yes. I mean, his team's near the top. I think there's a few players on the men's side that have an argument. He's 4th in the league in scoring at 21 points per game. He's knocking down 44% of his field goals, shooting over 40% from 3, which is really impressive as well. I think when you consider, with all the fluctuation in terms of teams moving up and down the standings this year, one of the steady teams on that side has been South Dakota State. They've been near the top all season long. A lot of that is due to the play of Zeke Mayo. So I know we talked about Tommy Bruner earlier this year. We've mentioned the likes of the BJ Omat or even a Rahimi Anthony as far as who's near the top of the Player of the Year candidates. Zeke Mayo is certainly firmly entrenched in that conversation. I'm buying that he is a legit Player of the Year case.
Hammer it. All right, Dave Richmond, possible Coach of the Year. I know this storyline changed a lot in the past week because of those 2 key wins.
Yeah, I'm buying as well. I mean, when you look at just the turnaround, almost kind of literally in the middle of the season, I think you got to look at, obviously Paul Sather is in that discussion for what he's done for UND, but North Dakota State was quite literally at the bottom of the standings not too long ago. Now they find themselves in the 4th spot, and they can climb even higher. This is far from a done deal. I mean, who knows what South Dakota State could do this week? Who knows what North Dakota could do this week and moving forward? And if North Dakota State continues on the trend that they're on, they've been able to win a lot of close games. They're due for a week where they just blow somebody out. Like, they're due for a week of comfortable wins. That's how good they've been playing this year, and a lot of that is due to what Dave Richmond says. He says, believe in our process, trust in our process, and what you're seeing is the result of that. Huge credit to Dave Richmond and his team. I think he's got a legitimate Coach of the Year case, so I'm buying that.
All right, on the women's side, Denver women, are they back? They've won 3 of their last 4.
Yeah, it was tough because, as soon as we started to get into the, we didn't want to jump the gun. I mean, we wanted to see could they sustain the level of play that they had, which included a win over Oral Roberts at home where they scored over 100 points. They dropped one to South Dakota, and it was pretty bad. They lost by 30, but then you bounce back, you go on the road to St. Thomas, and you win a true road game like that. I think that's what really starts to get people to start talking about you. So I'm going 3 for 3. I'm buying it. I'm not going to say that Denver's going to suddenly win the Summit League tournament, but I think they can really gain some ground on some of the teams above them in the standings. And if that's the case, they'll end up with a better seed in the tournament, a more favorable matchup in the Summit League tournament. I'm buying what they're selling. Doja Woods and company, they're dangerous. I wouldn't want to play them in March because that offense, when it gets going, it gets scary.
Yeah, I mean, 3 20-point scorers in that game. Jordan Jones, Michaela Manette, and Emma Smith. Yeah, high-scoring offense. A team that's dangerous, also doing that on a midweek turnaround. I mean, you're playing Thursday, Saturday. It's tough to kind of erase that tough loss, go on the road, and then get a win like that.
Yeah, huge credit to that coaching staff. They like to use the hashtag progress on X. We're seeing progress in mid-season, so huge credit to that.
X, formerly Twitter. Let's talk X factors. Who stepped up last week and caught your eye on the men's side?
I'm going to say Jakari White. Now, he didn't blow you. He won't blow you away in terms of his numbers. He didn't have. I mean, he scored 8 points against Kansas City, and he scored 12 points on Saturday against Omaha, but those 12 points was 4 of 6 from 3. He's been quietly one of, if not the best shooter on that North Dakota State team this year. He made 2 threes also against Kansas City, 2 timely threes, because that game, North Dakota State really struggled, and they specifically struggled hitting outside shots. They got a lot of their points in the paint. Andrew Morgan, he had 31 points. A lot of his work was done in the paint and at the free throw line. Bowden Scumberg, he finished with 21 points. A lot of his work was in the paint and at the free throw line. But Jakari White was able to give them a couple of big-time, timely threes. I believe one of his threes tied the game up when North Dakota State had gone on a run to try and even the game up, or tie the game up. So, yeah, Jakari White's my X factor for North Dakota State, because I think without his play, both shooting behind the arc and the versatility he gives you guarding on the other side, North Dakota State might not win those games. So I'm giving it to him.
I'm going on the other side of the Dakota marker. Charlie Easley from South Dakota State. Yeah, his numbers jumped out on Saturday. 18 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, and 5 steals. I mean, it's not a double-double or triple-double or anything. I think it should count for something. That's very impressive. Those 5 steals added to the 15 turnovers that South Dakota State forced against Oral Roberts. ORU averages about 9 turnovers per game, which is top 10 in the country. Very difficult team to take the ball away from. They did just that, especially down the stretch when they went on a 17-7 run to secure that win at home. Very impressive performance from Charlie Easley.
Yeah, good stuff from him.
What about yours on the women's side?
On the women's side, I'm going to join you in Brookings, and I'm going to give it to Ellie Kolbeck. I just talked about her and what she's been able to do coming off the bench since the Velocin injury. Mesa Byam had been getting the start, but now Kolbeck has been asked to do more, playing a lot more minutes off the bench. She has been absolutely knocked down. I know Maddie Matthewitt, her teammate, earned Peak Performer of the Week honors, but Ellie is right there. I mean, she knocked down 5 threes against South Dakota in the interstate rivalry. Then she knocked down another 4, and I believe she knocked down another 4 or 5 this weekend. I mean, every time you think that South Dakota State, another bit of adversity, another hill to traverse, they climb it. They like it seamlessly. And Ellie Kolbeck has been a big reason why. AJ said that they're going to rely on her as far as outside shooting moving forward, and I think that she's showing that she can hold her own on the outside. So huge shout out to Ellie Kolbeck and the way she's been playing.
Yeah, South Dakota State is really climbing the mountain, or as we like to say around here, reaching the summit. On my women's side, junior guard Lisa Thomas from Kansas City, 10 assists. 10 dimes. She was dropping dimes like Dame Dollard. 86-71 in the win over North Dakota. Her 10 assists, very important for Kansas City to get that win and get them back into the win column, a team that's really hunting for wins right now in league play. Let's jump into some of these game recaps. Some of the top games from the past week, and it was the game of the year last time these two played in Denver. Pios came out on top in double overtime. So, of course, this one in South Dakota and Denver had to go to overtime, right? Boston Holt led the Coyotes to a redemption victory over Denver with 27 points, including a clutch and one down the stretch in overtime. Holt was one of 4 Coyotes in double digits as they got on the right side of the win column, 92-86.
Yeah, really good win for them. And I think when you look at just the revenge factor, like you go and you play arguably the best game in college basketball recent memory. I know there's a ton of games we can talk about, from conference tournaments and March Madness and just regular season. Yeah. But I mean, that game, double overtime, a guy almost scored 50 points, but on the other side, the other guy almost scored 50. He had 44. Caleb Stewart and Tommy Bruner, combining for over 90 points a pop. I mean, wow. But to get that win, especially dealing with adversity, Caleb Stewart actually went down with an injury in the game. So Boston Holt was asked to do a lot more. Lahat Chun was asked to do a lot more. They responded, and they've been searching for wins. That's one that they really wanted, and they finally got it.
Now joined by North Dakota head coach Paul Sather after a special run, 6 straight wins. You guys started 0-3 in league play. You lost 9 of 10 to Division I opponents, really coming into this portion of the season in 2024. But all of a sudden you look up and you're in first place. How did this happen?
I think we've really gotten it to where we're defending, where we're rebounding, where we're taking care of the basketball. The addition of Tyree right before Christmas, I thought gave us a really good boost. We had won at one point like 6 in a row, and then we had a little bit of a problem coming out of Christmas with some just energy and just not playing at the level that we can be playing But from that Omaha game to that Kansas City game, we just kind of turned a corner when it came to our energy, our belief. And we started doing the things that are really hard, like defending, rebounding, taking care of the ball. And I think once the guys really started feeling that as a team again, that energy that we had kind of going into Christmas came back pretty quick. And then you add Tyree in with that energy, and I just think it's really kind of helped us. So, it's very fragile. Like, you got to just keep fighting for it. And we're in a situation where we got two really good teams coming into our place this weekend, and it's a good opportunity to keep playing good basketball.
Yeah, well, with that, I mean, obviously you guys have done a tremendous job to end up at the top of the standings. But, I mean, when you look down, only a couple of games separate those top 7 teams. So for as well as you've played, how much of a sense of urgency is there to continue to play that well, knowing that 1 or 2 games can be, all the difference as league play continues?
I do think the mistake that you make is looking at standings and worrying about where you are and where other people are. I think the focus you got to have is a little more narrow and a little bit more just on us, on our team, having a good practice Monday, having a good practice today on Tuesday, and continuing to find ways to improve, get better. We got plenty of those areas that we can improve and get better on. I think if you get worrying about where you sit in the standings this time of the year, you're going to probably not love where you're at the end of the season. So those things don't mean a lot right now. What's good is that we're showing some toughness. We're rebounding pretty well. And at times we defend pretty well. And at times offensively we're moving the ball the way you can. We're getting good looks, and we're finding ways to score some points. So keep it simple. Don't get caught up in all the outside distractions and worrying about where you sit in standings.
Coach, what is it about B.J. Omot and perhaps his development as a player since he's been in Grand Forks? I mean, he seems to have really stepped out and become one of those top 5 or 6 players in the league this season.
Well, he's talented. He's got great length. His skill set is really, really good. And he's a guy that can defend in a lot of positions. He's a versatile offensive player that he can attack the basket. He can make threes, but he can drive and make plays for other people as well. And I think as he's learned to play with more physicality, that's really helped him.
And Coach, also another one of your standout players. I mean, you got a bunch of them. It seems like anybody on any given day can go off for you guys. But specifically, I want to talk about Amar Kujovic. I mean, just the spark that he's provided. You mentioned rebounding and how well he's been rebounding. I think he's been in double-digit rebounds, at least 3 of those 6 straight wins. He's got a bunch of double-doubles. Can you speak a little bit to just what he's been able to provide inside and just for your team in general as you've gone on this run?
Yeah, Amar is just a lot of toughness. He's just got the right makeup in what you want, especially in that kind of position where, it's a battle every possession, defensively, offensively, on the glass. Like it's hand-on-hand, it's body-to-body physical contact every possession for him. But, it's not just him on the glass. A guy like Eli King off the bench rebounds well. Tyree Anacho rebounds well. I think Sotne has started rebounding, and I think Amar's helped in all that. I think he's really set the tone for us on the glass. And but he's just been a really, really consistent guy, and that's kind of who Amar is. He's been a really consistent guy for us. He's been playing through a lot of injury and a lot of sickness, and it's fun to have him really playing and feeling good right now.
Coach, Amar said that there's some sort of formula that you have kind of working for this team. What is that formula? He wouldn't tell me.
Yeah, well, it's kind of our own little deal, right? I think if we put it up, nobody would understand it except us. And I mean, it's stuff you talk about with the guys all the time. It's all about defense. It's all about how we defend, how we rebound. And then within that, how we're competing. And it's not just competing physically, but competing mentally. And then on the offensive side, it's it's simple. It's like we need to take care of the basketball, and we got to get heart touches. And anytime we can get that ball inside that lane, we call that a heart touch. And our shooting percentages from 3 and from 2 really go up when we get that ball inside the heart. So, I mean, we got a little formula that we made for it, but, it's kind of complicated for anybody outside the program. But the idea is pretty simple. And I just felt like maybe we got all these math geniuses on our team right now. I figured that maybe if we put it into a formula, they would get it. And they've kind of ran with it, and it's been fun. But the guys are doing an awesome job of enjoying the competition, of doing the hard things, and being good teammates. Like, we've had some guys that maybe their minutes have gone down, and they've really made this about the team, and they're staying ready when their number gets called. So it's this formula. These guys have really bought into having an identity as a team, and we just got to keep that toughness going, keep the humility, stay grateful in everything we're doing, and try to be a great teammate and bring your best every day.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
It's the gist.
Paul Sather's theory of relativity. Coach, thanks so much for joining us on the show, and we wish you the best of luck. Coming up, we'll preview North Dakota's game against Omaha after the break. The Ticket Smarter Peak Performers of the Week have been named in the Summit League. North Dakota's Casey Borovich after her triple-double on Thursday, and Frankie Fiddler from Omaha earned the award after his big week that included 2 key wins for the Mavericks. Both players have settled in and have been playing at different levels since the start of league play. Borovich is up to 20 points per game, while Fiddler is averaging 30 points through 4 league contests. During the 2019 NBA playoffs, Draymond Green proudly proclaimed that he is the best defender in the NBA. It was a statement that was received with immediate criticism. He responded the next day saying, quote, "As a competitor, you're trying to do something meaningful. If you don't have that mindset that you're the best ever, you've failed already." 16 months ago, Frankie Fiddler declared that he believed he is the best player in the Summit League. In a league that included an All-American and an NBA draft hopefuls, perhaps Fiddler was just a year early. Still, it's that mindset that has allowed him to take the reins of an upstart Omaha team and push them to first place in the Summit League. Like Draymond Green, Fiddler has played with that confidence on his sleeve, and he's making a real case at being the best in the Summit. Can you put into words, when you kind of start seeing these performances pile up on top of each other, what it means to you to know, okay, I am who I say I am?
I tell myself before every game, trust the stuff you did when no one was watching, so the people who are watching can enjoy what you're producing.
7:20 to go, and there's Frankie Fiddler.
I think to get to this point, a lot of people really don't understand how much you have to truly love the game that you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get over those humps of early in the morning, it's cold out, -20 out like it was a couple weeks ago, and you get here to the gym and you get shots up?
Just seeing the bigger picture, knowing how much you love the game and what you'll do to go play the game. So I think, just not letting outside things affect what you really want to do, especially on the court.
White runs it down to the free throw line. Osborne up top, wing left Fiddler for 3. That's good, and the Mavericks have the lead.
6'7", you have a unique skill set at that size. I don't think a lot of guys in the mid-major game or really in the college game have that. Have you gotten any sort of feedback or any scouts or anything like that? People showing up, starting to take notice?
I've heard from a few people. My AAU coach reached out to me and told him that, and he told me that some people reached out to him about me and kind of just seeing how I was on the court, off the court. So the attention is definitely picking up for me, and I'm just blessed to be in the position I am.
As a team right now, you guys are right there. You guys were picked, I believe, 7th coming into the season. Not a lot of high hopes from the media and I guess the coaches around the league for this Omaha program. What's your message to those people that voted for you guys to be lower than you are and kind of what you're projected to finish?
When those preseason polls came out, we kind of took it with a grain of salt because we knew the talent we had on this team and we knew what we're capable of. And the season's not over yet, but we are in front of where they picked us right now, and we could really finish in the top 2 or 3 in this league. Just to all those people that didn't pick us, just we're coming, and Omaha's here to stay in the top half of the league.
And Fiddler was just named one of the 5 Oscar Robinson National Players of the Week after 63 points and 19 rebounds in Omaha's 2 wins over North Dakota and North Dakota State. We talked about it earlier in the show, but he's been incredible this season, and his 30 points per game in Summit League play lead the league by a large margin.
Yeah, I mean, he believes he's the best player in the conference, and he's showing it this year. And I got nothing but respect and honestly, admiration for what he's been able to do, because this is an Omaha team that, like we've said, came into the year with almost no expectations, but they find themselves sitting at second place on the men's side, second behind St. Thomas, who, again, a really good team there. But Frankie Fiddler's been leading a team that's been playing well above, punching well above their expected weight. And, I just got nothing but respect for him. And also a huge shout out to Chris Crutchfield, because this is, a lot of times you don't see that second year leap sometimes in teams. But right now they seem to be making it.
We're seeing a lot of teams make some of those second year leaps. We'll talk a little bit more about that coming up as we preview Thursday's contests and the weekend ahead in the Summit.